Jeremiah is never really considered in the summer I Turned Pretty's overall scheme of things. He serves as the third spoke of the wheel, is Belly's best friend but not boyfriend, and is the one who suffers Belly's heartbreak. We are finally privileged to hearing his perspective on the matter halfway through Season 2. After Aunt Julia destroyed Susanna's home at the conclusion of the 4th episode, Lovefool replaces Belly's voiceover with Jeremiah's as the group searches for a new location to stay for the night. Jeremiah proposes they stay at his old place of employment, the Posh Country Club, where Belly spent the majority of the previous summer getting ready for the debutante ball, since all the hotels in the region are already fully booked for the summer. But when Cam tries to enter with his key card, it is rejected, so he uses his mom's employee entrance code to let them in on the condition that they clean up after themselves. Cam is, for some reason, still hanging out with a gang of childhood friends. Similar to last week's boardwalk excursion, this week's activity divides the group into smaller groups to search the grounds for necessities for the overnight stay. After a brief, intimate moment with Conrad, Belly follows Jeremiah to find a place for them to stay the night. Even though he sees an invisible force affecting his brother and his crush, he is thrilled to have time to himself with Belly, and their flirtation is obvious. They locate a room with a projector and playfully push each other to find an excuse to build shadow puppets in the harsh light. Belly frequently uses Susanna as a coping method when talking to Jeremiah, recalling how the two of them used to watch vintage Billy Wilder films and sip Coke via Twizzler straws. Belly seems to be attempting to have it both ways a lot of the time in her behavior. She continues to flirt with Jeremiah in a way that makes it appear as though she is leading him on, while obviously still missing Conrad. As an illustration, later in the episode, before the gang gathers for their outdoor sleepover, they play a quick round of truth or dare on the golf course. Sky, who is stirring the pot, and maybe a little stoned from some marijuana belonging to rich people that Taylor found in a coat pocket, challenges Belly and Jeremiah to make out. When they have a moment of alone, Belly asks Jeremiah why he wouldn't kiss her. Jeremiah, sensing the awkwardness of the situation, deflects and claims they're too old for things like this. He makes the awkward admission, "If I kissed you, I'd never be able to stop," in the exchange. Although Conrad was arguably the largest and truest love of her life, Belly even acknowledges to Taylor that she might be able to see something with Jeremiah. Belly appears content to know that Jeremiah still has affections for her. That doesn't exactly strike me as a nice development. It's obvious that Belly will go back into his arms and hurt Jeremiah once more if and when Conrad emerges from his grief cloud and wants to restart things with her. Stephen and Taylor are also experiencing a romantic fling as they go line and shopping together after Stephen begs Taylor to go with him. Since he has been flirting with her for a few episodes, he takes a chance while they are alone in a ballroom. Under the premise of assisting her with a potential debutante event, he offers her a lesson in ballroom dancing while performing Frank Ocean's cover of Moon River, the second Frank Ocean needle drop in the episode. However, things quickly get more intimate between them. When Jeremiah and Conrad barge in looking for Stephen, her touch goes from his hand to his neck, and they begin to kiss. The two end up sleeping close to each other in their sleeping bags because they are both on a high at the time. Although it's certainly accurate, Belly's claim that she watched the entirety of his graduation video as an indication that she never ceased caring for him doesn't necessarily mean that she has romantic feelings for him. But he does, as his voiceover at the end of the episode confirms. Conrad has always been Belly's boyfriend in all of my life. But perhaps I could be me for the remainder of the tale, he speculates. Taylor subsequently confesses to Belly that Stephen really injured her last summer, and that it's not the type of hurt that just goes away. Even though I'm rooting for these two, I wouldn't be offended if Taylor chose to maintain her relationship with her rocker boyfriend back home. The writers gave Taylor more depth after she was very one-note in Season 1, allowing her to be wise, funny, and a good friend at the same time. Conrad is adamant on using his trust fund to purchase the house before Aunt Julia can sell it. He contacts some solicitors to help, but it's too late. The following morning, when everyone returns, Julia explains that she has already accepted an offer. There is still so much to learn about Susanna and Julia's past, and given the caliber of talent that was brought in to play these relatives, I have to believe some sort of flashback episode is planned for the season's final few installments, perhaps one that covers the events of Shitmas, as Sky calls it. But as of right now, they can no longer claim ownership of the Cousins Beach house.